Hello, everybody. It's Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. Welcome to a new Tuesday tip. I have got a wonderful little video for you today. Today, we're going to talk about how to create a gorgeous three-dimensional peony. Beautiful little flower. I hope you can see all the dimension that comes on this flower. We're going to be using the peony dies to create the flower. The reason I wanted to do this as a Tuesday tip is I found the dies a little intimidating when I first saw them. You know what? Once I got in there and figured it out, it's not intimidating at all. So I want to share with you what I learned and show you how to create that gorgeous flower. So let's get started. I'm telling you, this is one of the most gorgeous floral stamp sets I've seen Stampin' Up! Come out with in a long time. But what I loved is I kept seeing that gorgeous 3D flower in the catalog, and I thought, how did they do that? So when I bought the dies, as I said earlier, I was a little intimidated going, what's this? What on earth does that do? So we're going to tackle that today. So let's talk about what we need to create the 3D flower. Now listen, this die set, fabulous die set, but I want you to notice it does have dies that are going to cut out all three of the peonies that are in the stamp set. So that's awesome. But we're going to work mainly today on that three-dimensional flower. So here's what we need. We're going to need these two dies, these two weird dies, and then the little stamen. And what you're going to love when it comes to creating this three-dimensional flower is all you need is a quarter sheet of cardstock. Isn't that awesome? A quarter sheet is all we need, 4¼ by 5½. I'm going to take my dies and I'm going to put those two there. I will put these little guys right here, and then my stamen can go there. Now, I'm simply going to run this through my die cutting machine. And when they're all die cut, this is what we have. Now, when I said those dies were intimidating, I just couldn't figure out what the bottom of these meant. I'm going to show you because it's actually quite simple. Once you see it done, you go, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? So you can see how the die cut cuts us a little slot right there. We're going to take one, the smallest, and we're going to slide it into the next size up, and it just slides right in there. And you can see the bottom. I'm going to zoom in so you can see. Do you see they're the exact same? That means we simply line those up and then we get the image that we want. And we can kind of fluff all of these. I'm going to show you a little technique with it here in just a second. But again, we're going to take our next one. I'm going to flip it over this time so that you can see they just line up. And that's how we know that everything is going to go together just right. No guessing, no worrying. Is this right? Should it go to the right or to the left? Nope, because those dies just line up perfectly. Can you see how those all just line up? All right, now I wanted to share a quick technique. So this one I made a little white peony. And here I did one, this one I did out of Night of Navy cardstock. So I didn't do anything else but cut with Night of Navy. But this one that I want to show you right now, this one, you notice it's also with the white, but I did a little sponging on it. And that's the one I want to teach you right now because you might not want just a plain white peony, right? So I'm going to bring in a sponge dauber, a Pacific Point ink pad, and some grid paper because we're going to be doing some sponging. We're going to get not necessarily messy, but I want to be able to sponge off and get a little bit of this ink off. So let's start with our largest one. Now, what you want to keep in mind is anything down here at the bottom, same with these pieces here, that's going to show. So we're going to do some interesting sponging. We're going to go on the top and we're going to go on the bottom. So I'm going to ink that up, just a little bit of ink. But I like to get some of that ink off. That's a little dark for me. So I always like to kind of sponge some off. I'm just going to take that sponge dauber. You notice how it fits on my finger? That's always really nice, a little less messy that way. And I can just sponge all around the edges. You're going to want the bottom, remember, because that's also going to show on this layer. Okay, this very first layer, the largest one, that's going to show. Now, the other thing that's going to show is this area here. So let me get just a little more ink and we can just, I'm not going to worry about that. It's not going to show. It's going to get covered up. So if I hit it, it's all okay. So we can come in and we'll sponge that. Now that doesn't look very good, does it? Well, it will when it's done. Let's take our next layer. Again, let's get rid of some of the excess. We're going to sponge again. And remember this little area here? We're going to do that again. So now I can come in. In fact, you know what? Let's just do it this way. I really don't even have to lift that off. Remember, not showing. So let's do that. All right, now through the magic of television, I'm going to speed this up and I'm going to get these last two all sponged and pretty for you. Look, no ink on my fingers. I'm so proud of myself. All right, now with that stamen, I don't think I want it to be blue. I don't want that Pacific point. So there's three different ways you can do this. You can color this with a Stampin' Write marker and color it black. So I've got my basic black there. You could also come in with the dark basic black Stampin' Blend, or gosh, you could even just come in with a Sharpie marker, whatever it takes. We just need to color this black. I'm going to go ahead and just do it real quick here with my Stampin' Blend. Now, because that stamen is white and we've colored it black, I'm actually going to go ahead and get the back side of it as well. I don't want any of that white to shine through in this. So I want to make sure it's good. You notice I didn't get the tip. Right, that's going to be buried, but that kind of gave me a little something to hold on to while I worked. Okay, now let's put the flower together. So I've already shown you how these just slide right inside each other. And however you want to put them together is fine. You can use your multi-purpose glue, or you can use your Stampin' Seal, or if you have snail, you can use that, whatever works for you. I'm just going to do my multi-purpose glue because it's a little quicker. So I'm just going to put a little bit there at the bottom, line up my die cut pieces, give it a press. All right, first one done. We're going to move right into the next one, slide it in a little bit right here. I can now slide that down right into place. No worries about whether or not I'm straight. I know I am because Stampin' Up! Made it easy for me. Okay, now we'll get our very last one and we're going to adhere that one down. And there we go. Everything's lined up. Now for that stamen. That is going to slip right in between the smallest die that we had. And that can just slide in there. And when you get it set where you want it, you could just come in with a dot of glue or your adhesive, whatever you're using is going to be just fine, but just a little bit. But you know what? Let's talk now how we can give it even a little bit more dimension, because right now that is a flat flower. But you notice on this one, it's not. It's got dimension. Now this one here, I did leave flat because I wanted to be able to mail it and I just didn't want to have all that dimension. It's still gorgeous, but it didn't have the 3D effect like we did here. So let me show you how you can create that effect. And we're going to do that with a bone folder. Guys, you're simply just going to kind of lift underneath there and just try to give that a little flip with your bone folder. This is why we only left the adhesive at the bottom, remember? Well, we did that because we want to be able to get to these little pieces. Now, I am going to tell you, you are more than welcome to do this even before you start. I'm going to just kind of sit here and kind of manipulate these just with my thumb because it's pretty easy. Then we can get these up here. Again, we're just kind of giving it a little bit of a bend. This one, I think I will come along with the bone folder on the outside. Yeah, and we're going to have this fabulous, oh, so fabulous little 3D effect. I hope that you can see the dimension. It's absolutely gorgeous. Let me bring in the card that I created on this one because I want you to see the leaves. And I want to just share with you really quick how I did the leaves. And they're very, very simple. We're going to take the leaves and these weird looking squiggly guys, okay? They're a little bizarre, I know, but they're going to make a really great dimension on our leaf. So we're going to lay all of those pieces out. So 3 solids and 3 little squiggles. Let me run those through my die cutting machine. So there are all my die cut pieces. Now, what to do with these odd ones? Remember those? All right, so I do want to give these some texture and I want them to stand out a little bit. I could just layer, and let me show you what happens if you just layer. They would layer on and they would look just like that. Well, it's a little flat, so let's give a little more texture to these pieces. We're going to come back in with a sponge dauber and an old olive ink pad. And just like you saw me do before, get some of that excess off. And we're just going to tap that old olive ink on that little squiggle guy. Now let me layer it. Yeah, now we have texture, right? Now it's looking good. Now, just like I did with the Stampin' Blends, you could also go along this with one of your favorite greens, whatever it takes to make that a different color. And then you can see here, I just simply added those. I just adhered those together. I used the multi-purpose glue and just added those to the bottom of my flower. And guys, I'm telling you, this little flower is absolutely addicting. Oh, I meant to show you one more. Look at this one. This I did with vellum, and I did a little sponging with the petal pink on the vellum, gave it the dimension, and I used a sponge dauber for the stamen on this one with a little gray granite. So that's got a really nice soft feel. So I made that as a sympathy card. But yeah, I wanted you to see how amazing and how cool the Peony Garden Suite is, especially that three-dimensional flower. And let's not forget, we have some great images to just stamp as well, along with 4 sentiments. So really a fantastic set that creates something quite amazing. And there you have it. Like I said at the beginning, I really did find the die set to be a little intimidating at the beginning, but hopefully after today's video, you realized, oh, it's just so simple. And I got to tell you this too. I've been kind of addicting to making these peonies ever since I figured out how easy it was to use and create. So whether you create it flat to go on a card, or you like a little more dimension, or maybe that vellum, it's absolutely beautiful. I think you're going to enjoy creating with this die. Now, let me tell you where you can find that. Head over to simplysimplestamping.com or look down in the YouTube description and you'll find a link that'll take you directly to the post that will have pictures of the cards and the box for today, all the details. If you'll just click a pick for those dies, you'll be able to order it right there. Thank you guys so much for being here. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.